All right. A tear in the seams, a period from 1850 to 1860. All right, now guys, lecture has started. Before we actually get into this period, know that even though we're not talking about them, a lot of turbulence is going on underneath. Like the anti-slavery sentiment is on the increase. And as more and more people are joining the abolitionist group, splits start to appear. Because as you're having more people in, different people want different things. For example, a lot of the women wanted us to, hey, we're voting for the free black men to get the right to vote. Why don't we have women get the right to vote? And of course, Garrison thought, that's crazy talk. And for those of you ladies who think that oppression of women or think that you're being oppressed here in America, guys, what was an incredible thing that happened in Saudi Arabia this year?
They were able to drive cars.
Yeah, they could drive cars. Something that we take for granted. And what's funny is the prince actually, I believe, is starting to tell his dad that maybe women shouldn't be forced to wear the hijab or have to have a male with them at all times. Now, why they're doing that, I don't know. The king always says his son that has these liberal ideas. Might be because America is now energy independent and they're trying to become more partners in the world. I don't know. But women are saying, let's have women the right to vote, which Garrison is saying no. You have black abolitionists become very prominent in the anti-slavery movement. People like Frederick Douglass, a runaway slave from Maryland, that went up, I believe he got his degree from Harvard. He actually made the money to send back to his master to buy his own freedom. With that money, he included a letter in which he said, I love you, but I hate slavery. You had women like Sojourner Truth, who had been a slave in New York, and while Frederick Douglass could say all the scholarly kind of debates, she, with her common language, could keep lecture halls entertained for hours. Ready? Meanwhile, remember those women that I told you about? Well, they meet in upstate New York at Seneca Falls, holding a convention, believing that women needed to have more rights. You have women like Angela Grimke, Quaker, Lucretia Mott, Quaker, Elizabeth Cady Stanton, Quaker. They got together where they read like the Declaration of Sentiments. What's the Declaration of Sentiments? Goes a little bit like this. We the people, no. It's basically the Declaration of Independence with and women added. We hold these truths to be self-evident that all men and women, you go girl. Now as you can see, both women and men attended. Ready? Now guys, in the elections of 1848, both candidates wanted to do almost anything to avoid even talking about the issue of slavery in the territories, how it was going to go. I mean, most people believed in something called the policy of popular sovereignty, which basically is, hey, it's a state's decision, let them decide. Kind of like today, we have the illegal one of marijuana, but we also have like prostitution. Totally legal in Nevada. Totally legal. Well, in response to this, the Free Soil Party gets begun. Basically, Martin Van Buren starts this party whose motto was free soil, free labor, free speech, and free men. Basically, they did not want slavery to expand to the territories. This is the nascent form of the Republican Party. So the same crazy cat, Martin Van Buren, who started the Democrat Party, is also the crazy cat who started the Republican Party. Hey! And maybe if we had had more time, I don't know, something, it might have been different, but something happened in California in 1848. Anybody know? Gold. Gold was discovered at John Sutter's Fort. And of course, because it took so much time to get to the other coast, people started flooding in. That's why San Francisco 49ers. That's where they got their name.
It says 48.
Hmm?
It says 48.
Yeah, but did you hear what I said before that? About it taking a long time for news to get from California all the way to the East Coast. So, and then it took people in the East Coast time to get out to the West Coast. So by the time they arrived, it's actually 1849. The majority, even though there were others that came. Indeed, a deluge went out there. Why? Because so many people went out there that the army couldn't keep control of society. Basically, they said, hey, let this thing become a state because they can control themselves. So California applies for statehood. Well, we got a problem with that. What's the problem? And I'll flip right back to it. Is, remember, what's this 3630 line? Hmm? Yeah, everything below it, which means this here in Indiana, would be slave. Everything above it would be free. Well, this line keeps going out, and California, is it above or below? Both. Well, if you're a southerner, because parts of it's below, it's both. And guys, why is this so important? Because at this exact time, there are just as many, well, actually there's +1 slave states than there are free states. Why? Because Texas got added in. And when Texas got added in, boom, there's one more slave state than there is a free state. And the South kind of liked having that. Well, Taylor, who was a slave owner, that the South thought, hey, he's going to be on our side, President Taylor actually said, okay, tell you what, if California wants to come in as a free state, let it come in as a free state. But what I'll do is I'll go ahead and I'll allow popular sovereignty to take place in both Utah, which is above 3630, as well as the New Mexico territories. Now guys, what's funny and well, it's funny in that bittersweet, desperately sad way things can be funny. Guys, is Southern California really good for growing cotton? No, it's dry as a bone. What about Arizona and New Mexico? No. What about Utah? If Utah got it, no. Slavery and the cash crops had reached its geographic limit. But